introduce me, let them know or whatever, so.
All right, so everybody real quick, we got our brother Bashir here.
Hey, you guys, did you guys want to come over here really quick? Yeah.
Part of the reason why he's here is, checking in with you guys. He provides a lot of services through his business, so we just want to give a little small speech.
So basically, I don't know if you guys can hear me okay, but basically part of my reason for being here, so I'm a social worker / clinical social worker therapist. And so part of my job, I was asked to come here and just check in with the players about mental health, right? So I'm not gonna talk your ear off, I just wanna ask some questions. Some of you were here last time, but I just wanna ask some quick questions. So for all of you, anybody can answer, there's no wrong answer. So to you, what does mental health mean? What does that mean? Trauma, what'd you say?
Peaceful moment.
Peaceful moment, what else? Depression, what? Clarity. Anything else?
I would say the state of the mind. Depending on what situation you're in and what you're going through, your state of the mind is gonna let you know what you're dealing with.
Man, that's a good answer. One more answer before I give my answer. Anxiety, right? So just really quickly. So mental health comprises all of those things, right? So our mental well-being. A lot of times when you do research, they don't talk about spiritual well-being, but spiritual, physical, emotional, all those things comprise your mental health, right? And just like, for example, like physical illness or injury. So do you guys think that mental illness and mental health, is it the same thing?
I feel like they correlate.
They correlate, what else? Some people say, yeah, they correlate how? I mean, you're right, but like, what do you think? Both have to do with mental, right? But so let me give an example. So let's say like a physical illness, you catch a cold. So mental health is like on a continuum, right? So most of the time we're surviving, we're thriving, we're excelling, but then sometimes we have those days where we're just getting by, right? And that's a part of life because, for example, with depression, which is very common, just because somebody has depression doesn't necessarily mean they have a mental illness, right? Because, for example, there's what you call situational depression. So let's say that, you didn't get a job you wanted, right? Or maybe you went through a relationship and you go through a breakup, or things in your life is not working out. Sometimes you feel down, right? You might be a little depressed, but depending on your coping skills, because that's another thing that adds to your mental health. So how you cope with day-to-day struggles, you work through those situations, right? But now where it gets clinical and becomes like a severe mental illness is like when you start isolating for like more than 2 weeks. What do you think some other symptoms would be where it's like clinical depression, not situational? You had a situation, it was a hardship, but you worked through it, right? Now, maybe you have like clinical depression. What do you think that looks like? Not eating. Not sleeping, substance abuse. But here's the thing, what determines like how severe it is like how long you're going through that experience, right? So if you're losing weight, a month goes by, you're not coming out your room, that's a problem. And here's the thing about like mental health and mental illness, and this is why it's important, like spaces like this, like being involved and being engaged, is because here's the thing, right? A lot of times there's stigma around mental health. So if somebody is going through something, 9 times out of 10, if they don't feel comfortable in their environment, they're not gonna say anything. So, when we have a physical illness, if we break our arm, we have a cast. And people are naturally gonna say, oh man, what happened, right? But if you're suffering emotionally and you're not telling anybody, guess what? You're just gonna keep suffering. Right? So that's where like spaces like this, playing hoop or just being active, this is where, these type of environments are beneficial, because a lot of times people think of like therapy as going to sit on a couch talking to somebody. That's one aspect, but also being in places like this, because for example, who knows, there could be somebody in here right now that's going through something really severe, but they're not gonna tell you. But the fact that they're here, guess what? They're not in a room somewhere, like isolating or doing something that, can harm themselves. So really, you know, my job here is just to check in, give information, you know, like I'm not trying to take up too much of your time. I'm just really sharing information, right? And so I'll be here like in and out, you know, for the rest of the tournament and through August. So if anybody wants to check in, you know, you can always check in. I didn't bring my cards. Next time I'm here, I'll bring my cards, you know, so if anybody want to get at me like privately, you could do that as well, all right? Yep. So that's it. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Yep. Yeah. I need some water.